the Algonquin and the Iroquois, natives of the land. They understood the balance between nature and man. Then the trappers and explorers, long since laid to rest, left us a path to follow to that northern wilderness. Quebecois and Irish immigrants came here to cut the pine. Others worked the forge and furnace, dug iron ore in the mines. The mining and the lumber brought more roads to carry goods. The railroads and the steamers brought more people to the woods. The ups and downs throughout the years are seen on every face. You feel the seasons come and go, live a natural pace. That's life in these mountains, just look at history. They were here long before us, and they'll outlast you and me. Here's to you, all the mountain people. Here's to you, each woman, man, and child. Here's to you, who call the Adirondacks your home forever wild. Our home forever wild. Uncontrolled logging, railroad construction, mining, and widespread fires in upstate New York decimated primeval forests, threatening the water supply to cities and New York's dynamic canal system. This resulted in groundbreaking legislation that protected the devastated forest lands and watershed. In 1894, the Forever Wild Amendment to the New York State Constitution was voted on and approved by residents of the state. The lands of the state, now owned or hereafter acquired, constituting the forest preserve as now fixed by law, shall be forever kept as wild forest lands. They shall not be leased, sold, or exchanged, or be taken by any corporation, public or private, nor shall the timber thereon be sold, removed, or destroyed. His first day on the crew, walking on snowshoes, bare paws his grandpa had made. He heard the wildwood speak and answered their call, and like magic he was swept away. Where did he go? Nobody knows. He just took off walking for miles. But he ended up with more than what he had before, a child at heart, forever wild. Like the voice of the loon that carries its tune, north, east, south, and west, over your land and my land, lowland and highland, a song of the wilderness. We simply must band together, all of us who love the wilderness. We must fight together wherever and whenever wilderness is attacked. We must mobilize all of our resources, all of our energies, all of our devotion to wilderness. To fail to do this is to permit the American wilderness to be destroyed. I've been trying to make a comparison of this view to others I know, but there's nothing else I've seen quite like it. It has the same kind of perfection I have sensed when looking at the Grand Teton. In addition to the current protection for national parks and monuments, we need strong legislation on a national scale that is similar to what Article 14 is to the New York State Forest Preserve. We need to reclaim for the people, through their representatives in Congress, control over the wilderness regions of America. From his lean-to at night, he'd see such a sight above the black mountain so wide. The northern lights danced to a song of the earth in harmony forever wild, like the voice of the loon that carries its tune north, east, south, and west, over your land and my land, lowland and highland, a song of the wilderness. 18 years and 66 drafts later, Howard Zahniser's final version of the Wilderness Act was signed into law by President Lyndon Johnson. Sadly, Howard passed away 4 months before this national law was ratified. His wife Alice was there to receive the pen that commemorated the enactment of this national law to protect the wilderness, and to celebrate Howard Zahniser as its author and chief lobbyist. A wilderness, in contrast with those areas where man and his own works dominate the landscape, is hereby recognized as an area where the earth and its community of life are untrammeled by man, where man himself is a visitor who does not remain. In order to assure that an increasing population does not occupy and modify all areas within the United States, it is hereby declared to be the policy of the Congress to secure for the American people the benefits of an enduring resource of wilderness. For this purpose, there is hereby established a national wilderness preservation system to be composed of federally owned areas designated by Congress as wilderness areas. These shall be administered for the use and enjoyment of the American people in such manner as will leave them unimpaired for future use as wilderness. The essential quality of the wilderness is its wildness. There are currently 109 million acres of designated wilderness across America. New York State eventually adopted Zahniser's wilderness definition in its state land master plans for the Adirondack and Catskill parks, which contain more than 3 million forested acres of public forever wild lands. Like a hot knife through butter, your oars cut the water, making that guideboat just glide. And while lost in the moment, you find the answer, and like the hermit, it's forever wild. We all have a bit of that old hermit. Inside of us there's also a child, with a mind full of wonder, a spirit that's free, and a heart that's forever wild. Like the voice of the loon that carries its tune north, east, south, and west, over your land and my land, lowland and highland, a song of the wilderness. The sun is beginning to sink below the spruces on Cataract Mountain. I can go inside now, confident that the youth in the distant tomorrows will backpack down winding forest trails, glimpse the silver of a wilderness lake shining through the trees, and gather around a crackling campfire. They will experience the freedom of spirit and happiness found in solitude, enriched by the song of the hermit thrush, the hoot of an owl, or the cry of a loon. They will talk about a climb to a storm-swept mountain summit or a trip down the canyon of a wild river. And before taking to their sleeping bags under starlit heavens, they'll talk about how it will be possible for future generations to experience similar adventures.